Over 2,000 years ago, in a quiet corner of the world, a child was born. Not to royalty, not to wealth, but in a stable, among straw, silence, and stars. This birth did not shake empires, but it stirred eternity. It did not start with a king's decree, but with a whisper in the night sky. His name was Jesus. Born of Mary, a humble virgin and watched over by Joseph, his earthly guardian, Jesus came not into luxury, but into love. His cry pierced the stillness of that holy night, echoing hope into a broken world. He grew not in palaces, but in grace. As a child, he amazed elders with his wisdom in the temple. He noticed the unnoticed. He loved the forgotten. He learned obedience, lived simplicity, and showed compassion in small ways, long before the world ever knew his name. Even as a boy, Jesus stood out, not for power, but for peace. He ran with other children, yet his words carried weight. He was fully human, yet entirely divine. In the silence of Nazareth, the Savior was being shaped. At the age of 30, he began his ministry, not with grand declarations, but with simple words, "Follow me." He called fishermen from their boats, a tax collector from his greed, a zealot from his anger. He called the overlooked, the broken, the doubters, and turned them into world changers. He walked dusty roads, entered hurting homes, and brought heaven to earth. His first miracle, turning water into wine, a celebration of joy, a sign that the kingdom had come quietly but powerfully. He healed the blind, made the lame walk, touched the untouchable, welcomed the unwanted. He fed thousands with just 5 loaves and 2 fish. He calmed raging seas with a word. He wept at the tomb of his friend and raised him to life. Through parables, he revealed divine truth of lost sons returning, of mustard seeds growing into mighty faith, of the Good Samaritan defying social lines to show love. He didn't just preach love, he lived it, and that love drew crowds, changed hearts, and challenged everything the world thought it knew. But not everyone rejoiced. The powerful felt threatened. The self-righteous felt exposed. The religious elite grew envious, not because he sinned, but because he didn't bow to their traditions. Love disrupted their control. Truth unsettled their lies. His compassion crossed lines they had drawn in stone. Still, he loved them too, forgave them too. He spoke truth to power, but with tears in his eyes. He wept over Jerusalem, crying out for the people he came to save. In a quiet garden, he prayed, alone, knowing what would come. The weight of the world pressed down on him until his sweat fell like drops of blood. Betrayed with a kiss, arrested without cause, beaten without mercy, spit upon, mocked, and traded for a murderer. Yet he did not resist. He chose this path, for us, for every failure, every wound, every broken soul. The Creator was condemned by his creation, yet he remained silent, like a lamb led to slaughter. On a hill called Calvary, Jesus was crucified. The hands that healed were nailed to wood. The feet that walked on water were pierced. The head that had known heaven wore a crown of thorns. And as he hung on that cross with blood and love pouring down, he whispered the most powerful words ever spoken, "Father, forgive them." He took our place. He bore our shame. With his dying breath, he gave us life. Darkness covered the land. The earth shook. The temple veil was torn. Creation cried out as the Creator died. 3 days passed. The stone was rolled away. The tomb was empty. Jesus had risen, not just in spirit, in body, in power, in glory. He defeated death for all, for the guilty and the good, for the doubters and the devoted. He appeared to Mary in the garden, walked with disciples on the road, showed his wounds to Thomas, and broke bread with his friends. Death had lost its sting. Love had won the final word. But this isn't just ancient history. This isn't just a story in a book. His story lives on, in every act of forgiveness, in every choice to love, in every heart that believes. Jesus lives in us. He walks with the addict learning to be free. He sits beside the lonely in their darkest hour. He speaks through the pastor, the parent, the prisoner. He breathes new life into those who feel beyond repair. His story is written in ours. This is more than a story. It's an invitation to believe, to begin again, to walk with the one who gave everything for you. The world still cries for healing, still longs for truth, still searches for peace. And Jesus is still the answer. Come to him, know him, follow him. The story of Jesus is not over. It's just beginning. In you. The life of Jesus. A story that still changes lives. Subscribe, share, be the light.